Hey there guys, this is Robin Hood, and today I'm going to be bringing you a 2 versus 2 multiplayer battle in Napoleon Total War. This is going to be fought on the Ligny map, and I am going to be playing as Sweden. My ally Mike and Huge will be playing as France, and our opponents are Suppers Ready and Jihad. I don't know exactly who's who, but one of them over here is playing as Portugal, and the other one will be playing as the Ottomans. So real quickly, before I list off these armies, this is a really long battle, and there is continuous action throughout it. It is one of the more enjoyable battles I have taken part in Napoleon Total War. So this is quite an epic one here. And it's also the first battle I'm uploading in quite a few months, and a lot of people have been giving me comments and stuff asking where I've been. So just a quick explanation, sorry, can't talk. Quick explanation on all of that for you guys. This last fall here, I have started out in college, so first semester was getting settled in and everything. I didn't even bring my gaming PC with me, and now we're here to our winter break. So I will be a little bit more active here for a month, and then now that I'm settled in and everything and understand what everything's like, I'm actually going to bring my PC with me to college this next semester. So once the end of winter hits and stuff and school starts back up, videos will happen maybe once or twice a week. They're not going to be as regular as I'll be able to get them, and I'm just home for this week and now. Then I've got my final exams, so it is going to be a week or two before I upload again after this, but I'm going to try to get this channel back active here soon for you all. I was just, this is just a hobby for me, so getting life all set up was my priority for the last few months here. But anyways, now we'll take a look at this battle, and as you can see, the deployment phase has ended here. So in this battle I have 5 Jaegers, which are my skirmishing, several line infantry, I want to say at least 6, or it looks like 4 line infantry and 4 lifeguards afoot. I've got a mounted Jaeger and a dragoon unit, then a 7-pounder howitzer, and of course my general unit. And right away here you can see this map is divided by all these choke points and stuff. I actually always dread playing on this map because so many times it turns into just campy battles on either side of these choke points, and no one really moves. So the way Mike and I decided to approach this battle was we're going to go ahead and start being really aggressive. Now you still have to be mindful, like it would be stupid for me to try to cross this choke point, but we were going to push things forward as quickly as we could. So you can see I'm immediately moving into the middle. A lot of people tend to just sit on the side of the river that they deploy on. On this left flank I've got 2 Jaeger units and 2 line infantry units. This is not where I'm planning on making my main attack. You can see all my backup reserve foot guards or lifeguards afoot here are prepared. Technically they can support either direction, but they're more located to help this fight in the middle where I've put more of my troops. But right here I'm moving up, and we're going to start skirmishing with these Nizam credit rifles over here. And I've got 2 Jaegers units, and then I'm going to push up farther so my line infantry can get in on this fight, so that's going to make things interesting. Immediately off the bat here, the Portuguese cavalry is going to charge in, and they're being followed up by infantry. I had to retreat some of my Jaegers. These guys took some losses, but now at this point these cavalry are caught on my square, and very good artillery hit right there, taking out some men. But those cavalry are going to be routed, so just a quick disturbance there in the beginning. Meanwhile, over here, this is going to get interesting. So Mike here is playing as France. He's got a very strong army. 2 young guard, 2 old guard, several voltigeurs and chasseurs. I can't pronounce that right at all. But he's also got Swiss foot, this 18th Regiment of the Brave, and more chasseurs, Swiss foot over there. But anyways, he's going to be pressing in the middle against Portugal here. And you can see my cavalry coming back from a charge there. At the same time, though, Portugal is sending quite a hefty force around this left their left, our far right flank, and they're going to be making a crossing back here to deploy in the fields behind us, behind our deployment. And they've got an interesting force over here. They've got all these cazadores, which are basically skirmisher units. These guys have longer range, and you can see he's put some upgrades into these guys. 2 units of Portuguese cavalry, and then some actual infantry. Looks like 2 units of infantry there following up as well. 3rd unit here, which is making a crossing on this portion. So in our actual front, Portugal's a little bit weaker. They've got several infantry units, but the majority of their army is moving around that back flank. And you can see all these infantries. I'm charging with my dragoons just to force these guys into square. And this helps when attacking uphill. If these guys are in square, they're not getting as much fire going downhill, and it allows for Mike's men to move up more effectively. You can see all these guys. They are taking some losses, including some morale penalties from fighting downhill. But we're going to start turning the tide here, and now Mike's troops are going to be able to come up over this hill. He's got to be mindful of these Portuguese cavalry coming in on the right flank of this section of the battle, though. And I think these guys are actually going to get a pretty good charge here. So this Swiss foot unit is in some major trouble. On the rest of the field, though, Mike is managing to break through. You can see he's going to start shifting his lines here, puts those guys in square. I've got my artillery firing at this infantry unit up here, and my mounted Jaegers are also firing in on them. So up here, this was kind of a mistake on my part. I was trying to get my Jaegers into a position to shoot at these howitzers, but as you can see, it's kind of a weird position, and my men got kind of bunched up due to the terrain and how it lets you set up along this river, so I'm actually going to lose 2 units of Jaegers there. I believe these guys come back to fight for a little bit more, but as of the moment, they have been lost. Over here, we pushed up our line infantry, and we took out one of these rifle units on the other side. And then I also pushed back a rifle unit over on this end. And now my line infantry is marching back from that conflict. Here in the middle, our men still firing. Mike has pushed back those cavalry, and now this unit of infantry is being shot at from 2 directions. And these guys are going to start going down rather quickly. Meanwhile, Portugal is still moving around the back here. He's about to cross this bridge, and this is going to make things really interesting, because there's about to be a massive fight in this field here at the same time as my men are being engaged in the middle section, kind of from both directions. And you can see Mike's got all these reserve troops. This is his very elite reserve section, the 2 young guard and the 2 old guard. So if anyone's going to fight being outnumbered, those are the units to do it. Plus, I am bringing back my infantry from this side of the field, because I don't plan on making any pushes over here. These guys were just kind of to set up and put some flanking fire on anything that the Ottomans might try to cross over this bridge. But these infantry are going to come back, and they're going to be pretty key in this fight. And missed it, but a Portuguese cavalry came around back here, hit my cannons, but we managed to take them out. And my 1 lifeguard, a foot unit here, kind of depleted from that fight, but they are also going to partake in this upcoming battle here. And you can see the battle lines getting ready to be drawn, and also the Portuguese general furiously rushing around this flank, trying to be with his troops as they go into this attack. And the French coming out of the trees here. Now, if this turns into a melee fight, this will be something that France is definitely better off in, with the elite units, and Portugal, not paying attention, is going to have his men run right in. Now, he's going to have to pull back from this, and you can see he's doing that there. That's a mistake on his part, because it allows all these French troops to start firing. At the same time, these infantry are lining up. This 1 unit of cazadores is not going to be able to disengage, and the young guard are going to do a decent job taking them down. Some of the melee action there. This guy getting run through. But yeah, large battle lines about to be deployed here, and you can see them all firing. I don't know where the flags on these guys went. Guess they're back here. Right now, Mike is a little bit outflanked, but I have got my line infantry units running over to help out. Meanwhile, in the middle here, a unit of Comets has come through, and these guys are causing some havoc in my skirmishing lines, and I'm pulling back my men. These sword units are extremely dangerous. If they get into your men, they will cut through just about any unit. They'll have some trouble with guard units, but if they're not taking fire, they're going to do very well. And you've got a lot of Ottoman rush armies that use this kind of thing. Right now I'm trying to just hold them in place with my skirmishing unit, or actually that's Mike's unit. They took out one or two of my skirmishing units, and he was just holding them in place as we fire at them. Now the Ottomans still have several more of these types of units, and so we are worried about a rush from that kind of setup, especially since my section of the field here is really hard to fight in, because there's not that many directions I can push without taking heavy fire. So holding this area down was kind of interesting. You can see also the artillery duel is still going on here. But back here, Mike's troops are doing a good job pushing back Portugal, and Portugal is playing this well. These cazadores have longer range than any of the units that Mike is fielding right here. So he's going to start just running his troops back and not letting Mike actually start firing at him. You can see lots of the losses in there, and this infantry unit finishing off some Voltigeurs. You can see as Mike keeps pushing forward, these guys are going to keep falling back. Of course, their flank is crumbling there. I was doing the same thing over here with my line infantry, and this unit of cazadores just keeps running away. So instead of pursuing them, I'm going to end up pulling my troops back, and Mike's going to do the same, and we're going to kind of sit back in this location over here. There are still these cazadores taking up a position on this hill. And then meanwhile in the middle here, I'm rearranging my lines over on this flank. I have moved up a line infantry right into the trees here to fire across at these rifles. And these guys are going to start being taken out. They are returning fire, but they're in a bad spot here. This is not a very quickly moving engagement, though. So this is the point things start to get interesting in the middle. The Ottomans have decided that they're going to start making a push while we are kind of thin here because of the large fight going on in the back. You can see Portugal, although damaged, definitely still has some troops over here, and he's not going to let us just disengage him since he does have that longer range. So you can see anytime Mike turns around to fight him, he's going to run back and try to use that range to his advantage. And I'm bringing my troops back over to support this flank from these Portuguese units moving around on Mike's right. Meanwhile, in the middle, these skirmishers here are the first wave of a much larger melee attack coming in. 2 more units of Comets coming in here. He's going to end up bringing in this unit of whatever these guys are called, Bashi Bazooks or something. I probably butchered that, but yeah, another melee unit, more lightweight melee unit. You can see here, again, slowing down with my Jaegers as all of my men start firing. And my men are set up in lines on purpose so that as these melee men get close, I can fall back and have the next level start firing on them. Over here, Mike has a unit, his 18th Regiment of the Brave, fighting off a cavalry charge from some Salatar Guards and Safi Cavalry. And more Comets coming in, so this is a bad situation for this unit. It's going to go down. Meanwhile, over here I have got my lifeguards positioned on the flank. You can see I'm trying to line all of these guys up to encircle and shoot down these Comets. The Comets are going to get into my lifeguard unit, point blank volley there. Now, in melee, this is a good unit for me to have against these guys. The Komets are still going to do fairly well, but I've also got this other lifeguard unit about to start firing right into their flank. So these Komets are going to go down fairly quickly. And in the middle, we have just pushed back. They made some very good headway, damaged a lot of my troops, but we have pushed back those Komets. Now these bazooks are going to start running in here. And they're going to head over this way. They're also going to take very quick losses, and as they're moving over, they're going to be taking flanking fire. And there they go into melee there. The artillery fire is also raining down. Again, back here, just more skirmishing. These cazadores just being a nuisance. And we're going to end up just falling all the way back now and ignoring them, because in an open field like this, we cannot effectively fight these guys. Back here, some cavalry charging into my artillery, and that's going to finish them off for good. And in the middle, we've got all this ruckus going on here. You can see the piles of dead bodies. That cavalry has now worked its way into my lines. My men are going to go ahead and take down these two units of cav. And there is a Portuguese unit of militia in the back here that's going to start firing in, but we'll also end up wrapping them up pretty quickly. So this cavalry made good headway. Now they're being fired at by lifeguards as well. And that's going to be it for them. They can't continue this. Too many losses, and they are basically going to cease to exist. And these Komets here, still powering on. My one lifeguard afoot unit pretty chewed up from their encounter with them, but still going. Though at this point, these guys are exhausted, and we're going to go ahead and shatter them, so they are going to start running away. You can see the last of them just being run through here. And that effectively is going to put an end to the infantry push by the Ottomans. Now the Ottomans are still in a decently good position, though. They do have some good units of musket infantry here, and they are across the river, so we still do have to push on them. This unit of militia here is not going to stand a chance in a head-on engagement with my lifeguards, which they are now entering. And my guys here, once they're set up, should start firing on them. It says these guys are walking. They might just be glitched out, though. But they are supposed to be firing. Looks like they encountered a glitch. And there we go. Now they're going to line up, it seems. And so now this militia unit's in trouble. My men are going to start returning fire, and that's going to swing this fight in my favor very quickly. Right here in the middle, I had pushed up, trying to take some initiative after that engagement over here, but he has the better position on the other side of the river, and once these other units moved up to fire on my flank, I'm going to go ahead and pull back, because that is not a fight that I am going to win. In the back over here, some more maneuvering. We managed to take out another unit of the cazadores. There's only one left, and the Portuguese general has made his way all the way around. He's going to escape behind Ottoman lines there. So for the moment, you can see the fields of dead over here. This all-encompassing engagement has come to a rest for just a moment. Don't know where my general's going, but we will go ahead and speed this up. So what's going to happen? There's a crossing back here, back behind. Any attempt at crossing we make here is going to take fire from all angles, and even though we have more troops at this point, it is still a risky move to make, especially getting jumbled up on this bridge. So we're just going to try to put pressure from multiple directions. And while I'm lining up over here, I'm still taking some artillery fire. The Ottomans are lining up to meet me. I personally think they would have been better off holding their men back and more uniform, or waiting till I was crossing to try to fight me, but they're going to put up a fight here, so I'm going to run up, and one volley from my line from across the river here is pretty much going to destroy this unit here, and they're going to go ahead and rout. Now there's this one more almost full unit over here, but they're going to be taking flanking fire as well. So the Ottomans are going to lose 2 units very quickly right here in this engagement, which they should not have taken. And you can see I'm going to withdraw the left flank of this force and try to shift them over to the right, taking some canister shot from the last working gun of the Ottomans. But this unit here is going to start suffering, especially on this flank, as they take fire from my other units. You can see them being whittled down here. And they are going to rout here very soon. Meanwhile, in the middle, I'm pushing up with my line infantry. My guys here are more of a meat shield, since they're so depleted and they were very low on ammo. So they're sucking up the first rounds of fire from Mike's old guard here, so that the old guard aren't taking these initial shots. My men are going to get off a shot or two, and then I'm going to start running back behind these old guard. And the old guard are going to take over this fight, and Mike's other infantry pushing up here, and they are going to finally finish off this howitzer unit. You can see my men now pushing over towards this bridge. That unit of militia, which withdrew, is going to try to make one more stand. And these artillery here being finally finished off. You can see the smoke is now rolling again. This is pretty much just a straight up engagement. Not actually pushing across the river, just trying to win in a gunfight here. And right here, my men are going to cross, and the Ottoman general is going to try to stop them. And I don't know if I didn't see it. I also don't think you can form a square on a bridge, but there wasn't much I could do about this. And my men are going to take a charge from these guys. Although the general's bodyguard unit is not going to do that well against this much infantry, and my general is nearby to support, so I'm going to rally my men, and we're going to buckle down and fight off these general's bodyguard in melee. And we managed to actually kill their general there, and that is a severe morale blow for the Ottomans. And now with that unit routing, my men are going to immediately keep going to line up. Okay guys, so for some reason there was a glitch in the recording and audio just cut out at this point in the video. There's only about 2 or 3 minutes left though, so rather than redoing the whole thing, I'm just doing some voiceover here. But as I was saying, those militia are going to rout for the final time there, and at this point my whole force is on this side of the river. We did an infantry charge up the middle there with one of my units to clear the way for Mike's more elite units to cross without taking fire. Surprisingly, the infantry charge was actually successful enough to basically rout the rest of those Ottoman units. And so now with our entire forces on that side of the river, things are pretty much over. You can see a lot of the bloodshed that took part on this part of the field. For a while there, things were not completely determined, especially when the Ottoman push in my center started to actually make some progress before we managed to turn it back. In the rear fight, there wasn't all that much risk of us losing, but Portugal definitely made it difficult, and Mike took a ton of losses, which is what I was pointing out there when making the initial push against the Portuguese held hill. But he's now sending his units to finish off these last Ottoman units which came back from routing. He's also doing a melee charge up the top of this hill to finish off these cazadores, and them in a fight versus Old Guard is not going to go well for them, even though they do have some experience on them. And that's pretty much going to wrap up the battle. So now I believe I went and took a look at the last little bit of Ottoman resistance, which didn't do much. The players kind of gave up at this point because there really wasn't anything they could do to turn this around. So you can see this unit, he's not even going to turn it around to fight, and it's just going to be hit in the back by all of these charging angry French troops. And that is going to be the end of them. They're going to go ahead and rout. So we get to see a few people getting run through with bayonets here before the game finally ends. But anyways, very good game to both Mike and Huge and my opponents. Supper's Ready and Yihad, I believe. And you can see there Mike doing an incredible job with almost 1,500 kills. Even though he took heavy losses, it was a tough fight. I actually lost significantly more men than I killed. Part of that is due to some cavalry charges that I was not paying attention to. Doing a good job messing up my men, dealing with the infantry charges, and just fighting in that middle peninsula. It's kind of a hard area to fight in, but thankfully Mike made a good push and had enough troops to support me in taking the Ottoman player out at the end, which allowed us to actually win there. So if this was not a 2 versus 2 battle, chances are I would not have been able to pull that one through. That was quite an epic little fight there, and hopefully soon I'll be able to bring you guys more regular videos. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time with more. This is Robin Hood, signing out.